What's going on, gang? Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at Transformers Generations Leader Class Starscream. I picked this up secondhand from my good friend Deno over at TokuNation.com. Now, this figure, Starscream, is a retool of a figure I have already reviewed, that being Jetfire, whom I have right here next to him. The one weird thing is I have never seen Starscream in person. I've seen him for sale at BigBadToyStore.com. I saw him on Amazon. I've never seen him in real life in a store. Jetfire I've seen everywhere, even in a store. I haven't even seen Skywarp either, and apparently there is a figure of Skywarp in this mold. Now, the biggest mold changes have to do with just the way the wings are and this little section of plastic on the sides of the nose cone. So you see how Starscream's air intakes are much, much smaller than Jetfire's? Here are Jetfire's. So there is significant difference there. And the main wing structures. The main wing structure on Starscream don't move. They are in a swept back configuration, while Jetfire's main wings can go from a swept back to a delta formation. The other differences with the figures have to do with their accessories. Starscream comes with 7 different guns that can all combine together, and a crown. Oh, and there is a missile for that center gun, so he can wield that missile. Jetfire, on the other hand, comes with a super backpack similar to a Macross figure and 5 guns. Loaded up with all their weapons, the playing modes do look similar, but they are actually a little bit different. And I like the contrast. I think that works well for both of them. They can both wield weapons on the bottom. However, you notice Starscream's isn't straight, or I should say pointing directly forward. It's actually kind of pointing at weird angles. And that's because of the way the legs have to transform and the way the legs hook into the bottom of the wings. It's not easy and is more frustrating than I care to admit. And also you can see back here that I don't exactly have the legs attached to the wings. Things didn't line up quite right for this mold for some reason, and that's probably just me being stupid. Starscream's transformation into robot mode is exactly the same as Jetfire. Fold up the front landing gear, fold the rear tail fins down, grab the engines and kind of unpeg them from the back of the body, like that, and then fold them up and over the middle of the fuselage of the plane. Come up to the front and push down and lift up these 2 tabs, and then that will enable you to grab the entire section here on the side of the nose cone and flip it down like that. Then you can take the nose cone, unpeg it, and ratchet it up and fold it up onto the top of the fuselage. Leave this section flipped out like that for now. Come to the underside of the vehicle mode, grab the leg that is the rear landing gear, and fold both of them, or I should say unpeg them, and then fold both of them down, turning the thigh swivel so that the knees are pointing forward. Take the center and move it up a little bit, but before doing that, or before moving the center head section and torso all the way up, grab the arms, pull them out, and then split them apart on the back of the figure, fold the figure up, flip out the tabs, and just kind of line everything up so that the crotch tabs peg into place and that the arms can get folded all the way down. And this is always the most tricky part because things tend to get in the way if you don't do it correctly, like, I'm doing it incorrectly. Then fold the arms in and peg them into the chest and just get everything pegged into place and you're done. And don't forget to fold out the feet because, the figure does need to stand up and all that. The overall aesthetic is quite good for Starscream, and Starscream in all of his, Starscream-esque colors works well. I do wish the wings folded up a little bit more, but that's okay. Head sculpt is good, chest sculpt is very good, and it looks like it's just constantly scowling at you. The figure does possess a little bit of light piping, though it's not great, and it only seems to glow that little thing at the top of his head. His eyes do glow, but you need to get some direct light on him in order to get them to glow correctly. But I love the little, Cylon-esque glowy thing at the top. Or, I'm sorry, not Cylon, Zaku-esque thing glowing at the top. Starscream and Jetfire standing next to each other also work pretty well. I would have loved to have gotten a hold of a Thundercracker and a Skywarp for this mold, because I think that would have looked really, really neat. Now, the Starscream I have has a little bit of an issue in that everything on the figure's left side is pretty loose. The ratchet joint, the swivels, except for that ratchet joint, but the leg joints and the leg swivels are all pretty loose, specifically on the left-hand side. I don't think this is anything to do with whatever condition the figure was in when I received it, but rather some QC issues. And I've seen online that this specific figure has some QC issues. Now, you can also mount Jetfire's battle pack onto the back of Starscream in either mode, so it does work, and it does or is compatible with all those guns. So there is that. I think it looks ridiculous. I think it only should be on Jetfire. That's just me. You can load him up with all his guns just as you would Jetfire. I think it also looks ridiculous. What doesn't, however, look ridiculous is the crown, which snaps right onto his head and I think looks fantastic. It's a wonderful, wonderful look to the figure, and I'm really glad they added it in. Not only does it look cool here, it was also in the comics. I think Generations Leader Class Starscream is pretty good, if not a little bit flawed. There are some issues, as I said earlier, but I do like the figure. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it. I think it's a nice combination with Jetfire, though I would have loved to have seen a Voyager class version of this mold, just to get the scaling a little bit better. Oh well. What you gonna do? So gang, I hope you have enjoyed this video review. As always, I'm Baltmatrix, asking you to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.